Hello everyone, welcome to the Lundy Construction's Ikea RHC renovation project. My name is Jordan Taylor. I'm the Health and Safety Manager for the company, and I'll be guiding you through the first portion of the orientation here. Now as we get set, Lundy has employed Mr. Warren Brownlee as the project supervisor. Warren can be reached at 613-229-8550, and note that'll be key for the sign-in requirements at this building. So to that end, every worker entering this project is required to sign in with the IKEA security staff. Contact Warren, again, 613-229-8550 for further directions to get up to the security sign-in booth, which is going to be located up on level 3 of the facility here. Now, as we get into certain specific emergency calls, IKEA has a set of their own emergency guide calls that we as workers should be aware of while working in their facility, and they are as followed here. A code 1000 in a specified area. This is going to indicate a possible fire or general alarm. So avoid those specified areas, remain calm, continue working, and just simply await for any further instructions. A code 1000 at the switchboard. This indicates that there's a bomb threat. Again, await further information. Do not use any radio cell phones or any other Spectra Link phones. A code 1000 everywhere. This also indicates a bomb threat and requires an immediate evacuation. Code 5. This indicates that there's a possible gas leak. So avoid the specified area, remain calm, continue work, and just await further instructions. A code 77. This indicates that there's an active shooter. Avoid the specified area, remain calm, evacuate if safe, evade by hiding in a safe place, and only engage as a last resort. Now, within the Lundy emergency procedures, we will coincide with those emergency calls. However, we will be using the emergency pull stations as your general evacuation. And should there be a further emergency within Lundy, the Lundy supervisor, Warren, or Warren will designate a competent worker. We will contact IKEA Security Department at 613-670-8060, extension 1234, to simply advise them of the situation. The civic address to this IKEA facility is 2685 Irish Street. The closest hospital to us is going to be the Queensway Carleton Hospital. This is located at 3045 Baseline Road, not too far from the IKEA facility itself. Now, should we be required to evacuate the actual building, the emergency muster point for the project is going to be along the 417 highway, so more or less north of the IKEA facility. You will see an emergency muster point sign, and please, as a worker within Lundy, head to that muster point, sit tight, and await further instruction from Warren or a Lundy representative. Now, as we look into the different phasing of this job, these are just going to be some brief overviews. The scope of work for this project is going to carry from fall 2025 to spring 2026 with the different M&E components here. So up on the roof, there's going to be some structural reinforcing, some roofing work itself, some mobile hoisting to get the roofing and the structural components up to that roof. And then again, further in spring 2026, there'll be a new air handling unit that'll be hoisted up as well. In the penthouse, there's going to be some select demolition for housekeeping pads. There'll be some re of the M&E equipment, different boilers, expansion tanks, so on and so forth that will be removed and replaced. Note that in the penthouse and on the roof, scopes of the work, Lundy will have first aid kits and proper fire extinguishers inside that mechanical penthouse for our use. There will be some scopes of work on the interior on level 3, which will be coordinated a bit of off-hour work, again, simply because of the active store being open. Again, similarly of some select demolition, there'll be some structural reinforcing, some fireproofing work, and again, some further M&E. As those different phases on level 3 get carried out, same as the mechanical penthouse, Lundy will ensure that we'll have our first aid kits, fire extinguishers, and some communication information moving with those respective task locations. So furthermore, down in the hydrovolt, down on the ground level in the parkade, there will be some electrical re down in the hydrovolt. Currently awaiting some Ottawa hydro approvals. They'll be looking into some new excavations, new pads, new bollards, duct banks, and the conduit installs. anticipated in fall 2025, and then the spring 2026 will be the install of the new transformer that'll encompass a shutdown. Large overview. With that being said, please sit tight. There will be a little bit more detailed information as you carry out with this orientation. Thank you very much. So now let's talk about the personal protective equipment. Here at Lundy, we do require the following to be worn at all times while you are on the project. Starting off with your protective headwear, please make sure your hard hat is an appropriate CSA classification Class E hard hat. This means that your hard hat has the appropriate electrical strength protection as a worker. Items not to be worn under a hard hat, such as a baseball style ball cap, they are not permitted to be worn under a hard hat. Items such as a toque, a bandana, a hairnet, a do-rag, or a welder-style baseball cap are permitted through the CSA standard. Protective footwear. Please make sure you have an appropriate minimum 6-inch steel boot, alright, that's properly laced up, proper CSA green tag, and the proper orange Omega tag as well. Again, giving you the most form of electrical protection to your feet. On top of those two items, a reflective garment is required to be worn at all times. Whether it is a vest, a t-shirt, a jacket, sweater, as long as they have the appropriate reflective strips, that will be permitted here at Lundy. Task-specific items such as anti-cut gloves when the task calls for it, eye protection when the task calls for it. If you're using a black abrasive wheel such as a grinder or a quick cut, maybe a chop saw cutting some form of steel, a full face shield is required to be worn at this time. If you're producing 85 decibels or louder in your task, appropriate hearing protection is required. Now, typically at Lundy, we will have additional earplugs with our health and safety board as well. They are there for you as the worker. However, please seek out additional PPE from your employer as well. General clothing, please make sure that you are wearing an appropriate t-shirt with a minimum 4-inch cuff shirt, i.e. no muscle shirts are permitted on the job site, and pants full length. General clothing, again, ideally not torn, not greasy, not covered in oil. To the best of your abilities, please make sure your clothing is appropriate for the tasks. So in addition to the standard personal protective equipment, you the worker may require the use of wearing a fall protection equipment device. Imperative notes here as that worker is to inspect the fall protection equipment prior to its use, looking for any physical signs of damage, cuts, tears, worn out threads. Does the dorsal rings, do they connect in properly at the back? Do your actual snap connectors at the chest, the legs, do they all connect properly as well? Important note is to follow all manufacturer's instructions. Reference yourself into that manufacturer manual should you need to. The employer is required to provide you site-specific fall protection training. Therefore, if you are at our project and you are required to wear a fall arrest system versus a fall restricting system, potentially a travel restraint system, the employer then is to provide you that site-specific training. If you're looking for additional information when it comes to site-specific fall protection training, you can most certainly reference yourself back to our Lundy Times issue number 5, where we have further described and broke this down. The provincial jurisdiction. A Section 52 report speaks about a medical emergency. Therefore, somebody went and sought out further medical attention because of an accident. Again, there is a specific time frame to have this report in. A Section 53 report speaks about a prescribed incident. Now, the prescribed incident can range from a fire, accidental electrical contact, an inrush of water, potentially a failure of equipment. Maybe you, the worker, fell with your fall protection that deployed and rescued and saved you. That is through the definition of a prescribed incident. In addition to these legislative required reports, a near-miss incident. At Lundy, we pride ourselves on instilling proper corrective actions and ensuring larger scale incidents do not occur. However, if a near miss does occur on the job site, please be sure to advise us so we can put those proper mitigating steps in place to avoid that near miss incident from turning into a larger incident. In addition to a near miss, there could be a property damage type incident report as well. So again, please be sure to report these to all Lundy supervisors the day of the incident. Thank you. So again, within all of our projects, we ask that everybody carries themselves in a professional, respectable manner. This ties in with the appropriate workplace violence and harassment policies set forth as well. We do have a copy of this policy statement posted on the Health and Safety Board. We do have appropriate procedures in place when it comes to workplace violence and harassment. My ask to you as the worker is again, conduct yourself in a proper, respectable manner on how you would expect to be treated in return. Report any potential or actual acts of workplace violence or harassment to the Lundy supervisor. Therefore, a proper investigation can occur. And I'd like to double down on the see something, say something scenario. If you see an act of violence or potential harassment, please speak up. We are a team, we work as a unison, and therefore we do wish and want everybody on our Lundy Construction projects to feel comfortable and safe while present at our Lundy projects. So when you hear the term see something, say something, what this refers to is, again, the buddy system, the working in conjunction as a team, as a unity out on the job site. If you see a fellow worker potentially working in contravention where they are exposing themselves or others to a hazard, please use your voice, speak up, and help that individual. This isn't a pointed point of conversation to say that person is at fault. It is a chance for us, again, as a team, to eliminate a potential risk, a potential injury, or even a worst case scenario. If you're the worker on the other end who is being engaged and saying, hey, look, maybe you're tied off improperly, respectively engage that person, thank them for their voice, and reposition whatever scenario you might be in. Again, see something, say something, working as a unison, working as a team, so we can all get home at the end of the day. So here at Lundy Construction, we do pride ourselves on you, the worker, and your rights as a worker. You do have the right to participate. The right to participate will be as part of the Joint Health and Safety Committee. If there's any project testing that's going on, noise, dust, whatever it may be, you have that right as that worker. Please seek out the Lundy Construction supervisor should you wish to take part in this. You have the right to know. This more or less falls with your WMIS, the safety data sheets. Again, information. Is it a site inspection? All of our health and safety information is readily available for you, the worker. So again, please just seek out the Lundy supervisor and just provide that question, and we'll be happily able to provide you that document you're looking for. The right to refuse. If you are placed in a situation where you do not feel comfortable, you do not feel safe, exercise your worker to refuse that work. We have an investigative procedure that'll follow once this refusal has occurred, and the ultimate goal here is to, again, get you, the worker, comfortable, safe, and in a position to execute your task. Lastly, it's the newest right. It's the right to disconnect. If you are a worker who engages with your electronic devices at the day's end of your job, you do have that right as the worker to disconnect and enjoy your time with your family and whomever it may be outside of the work world. So the 4 rights as a worker: the right to participate, the right to know, the right to refuse, and the right to disconnect. So here at Lundy Construction, again, we do ask all workers arriving to the project to be fit for duty. This is avoiding any consumptions of alcohol or drugs that would render you harmful to yourself or others at the workplace. Again, if you observe anybody at the project who is maybe consuming drugs and alcohol while at the project, please report that, and following the see something, say something scenario we previously discussed. And that way we can, again, avoid any risk to you and other fellow workers here. If you're a worker who takes any prescribed medication and that medication may render your abilities, it turns into a bit of a modified work program. Your employer will help guide you through that process. Us with Lundy, acting as the constructor, can most certainly provide recommendations and advice here as well. So again, please arrive to the workplace fit for duty, ready to go, and avoid any consumptions of drugs and alcohol while at the project. Now that wraps up the first portion of the orientation session. Thanks for watching the first portion of the video here. On the form itself, there will be a 5-question knowledge retention quiz that will need to be completed. Once that portion is done, feel free to keep scrolling down the form, initialing the selected boxes, confirming you heard and understood the information. At the end of the form, there is a section for you to upload appropriate training records. WMIS current within 1 year and your MOL awareness, whether it be your 4-step or 5-step, is required to be uploaded for this form to be complete. Any other training cards, such as your working at heights, maybe your first aid, equipment operator certs, or any other, can be added as well in the selective boxes. Once you hit the send and sign, the orientation form itself will be sent to the supervisor automatically. So on your first day, please check in at the site office or site trailer with the Lundy site supervisor. They will then confirm the form's completionness. Once everything is satisfactory, you will receive your Lundy site orientation sticker and you are cleared to work on the project. So on behalf of the Lundy Health and Safety team and the entire management here at Lundy Construction, we thank you for your time and efforts. Work safely, see something, say something, and we look forward to seeing you out on the project. Thanks again.